I just want everybody to be a member of CC.
Welcome to Happiness in the City. This is Barbara Knoll. It is so wonderful to meet with you and focus our attention on good things, on hopeful things, beautiful things. And I have been doing this for several years now, trying to find meaning of what it is in God's terms to be a king. No one taught me that. In fact, that kind of knowledge was pretty much totally considered as irrelevant. And we had to learn a lot about many things that today I see as totally useless, like theory of workers' rights in Lenin, who didn't even know how to handle being a manager in a factory and actually dealing with employees and people who have to create this wonderful labor situation. So this whole notion and concept of labor in communism was a huge error. It created a very strange understanding of labor that focused only on active production of things, but not on the entire enterprise, on the whole thing that is very complex and requires all kinds of skills and is also very complex financially. So when I turned to searching for meaning of authority, I realized that I may be missing the very center of what it is that Lenin was fighting against. Because he grew up in a Russian Empire that was at that time ruled by Romanov dynasty, a very complex dynasty with many international connections, but it was divine government. It was in the name of the Lord and under guidance of Spirit of God. So Lenin comes in. He was brought up in that spirit, and he just wants to take over that authority by replacing God with workers and replacing kingdom of God with labor. So we are still dealing with consequences of this. This error of thought hasn't been abandoned. And in many places, it completely destroys joy and happiness in nations. And I think that my search that goes to the foundations of politics based on things that are eternal, immortal, is a good direction. Even when we look at the situation in China today, China is an empire that has continued for thousands of years, and it got into this trap of focusing on labor at the expense of everything else in the country. And yes, it created a lot of wonderful things, but lost happiness and joy in the meantime. And also a sense of identity that traditionally was centered on life. China is one of those amazing empires that developed a very sophisticated understanding of natural law and how to balance things, how to continue life in families and communities. So by focusing on labor and person who did not understand what an empire is, even China has been going through a lot of suffering. So I think I'm going into a direction that may help many people see the future that includes joy and happiness and good luck and good fortune, many other things in addition to labor that create this wonderful harmony in a country. Psalms, as I see it now, are so powerful because they are written by a king who actually was at that time wielding political power and economic power and judicial power in Israel, and he had conversations with God. No kidding. That's why he wrote the Psalms. He had conversations with the Lord. When I was growing up, to even say that somebody has conversations with God would be considered as completely impossible. That something like this has to be made up. But here we have real effects. So I encourage you to search for the meaning of that relationship between God and politics, which is very unique for every one of you, because we are all at different levels. But throughout the world, we have the capacity to understand it. We all have that spark of image of God in us all throughout the world. So he can connect and speak to us at our levels and direct us in those wonderful, beautiful ways of his peace. So this is the most powerful thing that I'm beginning to understand, is that communication with God is the source of peace. I did not know that before. We were looking for sources of peace in many other places, like books written by people who wanted to create ways of authority according to their ideas. And this is a way in which King David is teaching us that the best way to get information about politics is by having conversations with God, which he had. And we have 150 Psalms today written by him. And from what I've just experienced, it's like a door to understanding dimensions of politics that cannot come through ordinary means. They have to come by participation of God in our reading. So when I started, it was just me and the words on the page, but eventually I realized that God is teaching me some things about politics that I didn't have any way of knowing except from him as the source. So I encourage you to do this, because we are living today in a very dangerous world. There are wars. There's a very dangerous war in Middle East. There are huge conflicts in former Soviet Union between some republics that were unable to reconnect with each other in peaceful ways. We have financial chaos, and we have a lot of nations that are just unhappy, depression, all kinds of problems with eating and drinking. People have difficulty communicating with each other. I was looking at some pictures. Some of my friends sent me some pictures from like 60s and 70s, and I was comparing. I could see the difference of shapes of children in those times and speed with which they were moving. And today, kids are often overweight. They don't know how to move swiftly. They are unhappy, very reliant on everybody around them. So we need to learn from our ancestors the good things that they knew in order to move forward with peace and to have that ability to receive peace that comes from God. And that peace is peace of virtue, peace that lasts, peace that brings joy and happiness to all participants. So let's continue some of the wonderful passages here that is passage 28. Thy God has commanded thy strength. Strengthen, O God, that which you has wrought for us. And he's addressing it to all congregations. So we see in Psalm 68 that God is, of course, selecting his kings, but he's God of the congregation. So it is not like the king is ruling the congregations. God is the one who is the ruler. And that is a big thing, because it means that congregations have recourse to God directly. This is really very powerful, because the way I was taught is God doesn't care about congregations or corporations or all of the inhabitants of the territory he rules. But in this psalm, we clearly see that it's not true. And the king is not like, he's not standing up and commanding everybody to do his will. Here, clearly, he talks to the Lord. King David talks to his God, and then God is doing it. So this is a very new way for me to understand politics. And as I continue receiving that knowledge, I encourage you to ask God about that too, because that would be a situation in which anti-people, like people of America, right? We have this higher level of peace that we can all access if we acknowledge God as the one who is the ruler of the land. That's why I keep repeating the beginning of the psalm, let God arise. Let God arise, because when he arises in the land, he is the ruler and he loves his creation. This is an example here of follow-up concerning congregations. There is little Benjamin with their ruler, the princes of Judah, and their council, the princes of Zebulun and the princes of Naphtali. And then he continues what I read before, thy God has commanded thy strength. Strengthen, O God, that which thou hast wrought for us. So God strengthens people. It's good. He is the one who brings in his strength to the people. Wow. So it's not labor that brings strength to the people, but God who then creates circumstances in which people can work, can live, can have houses, and have a wonderful and joyful life. Because when God brings in his leadership, it's like bringing rain on a field, and then everything that is planted in the field starts growing. God would not come in and just yell at the seeds, "You seeds, if you don't grow right now, I'll punish you." That would be ridiculous. God comes in with his ways to nurture and nourish life. So it is worthwhile considering that this is a much better way than what we have today. Laws and punishments and penalties and chaos and pressures. So I encourage you to search for it. Then it continues, because of thy temple at Jerusalem shall kings bring presents unto thee. So this is a just beautiful acknowledgement about Jerusalem, the temple at Jerusalem that is loved by God. And I encourage all of you all over the world to learn it. It's very important because you'll get blessings from it. Blessings from the Lord. If all kings of the world, today many people who have that role are actually administrative leaders, but that would apply too. If they bring in gifts to the Lord, he will guide them in the right ways. So why don't we accept that? It's good for everybody on earth. It's not good to fight Jerusalem. It's good to bring in honor to Jerusalem. And then King of Jerusalem, who is God himself, will bless all those people who honor him. Then we continue in this psalm that God is the one who is shielding his people. So he also has theory of defense. His theory of defense is here in passage 3, verse 30. In verse 30, rebuke the company of spearmen, the multitude of the bulls with the calves of the people, till everyone submits himself with pieces of silver. Scatter thou the people that delight in war. Wow, this is big, because here it's theory of defense that comes from God that delights in peace. So he differentiates between people who delight in wars and people who delight in peace. Something that is very important for us to understand, because there are wars that are necessity, defense, but there are wars that are created only because those who fight them delight in fighting those wars. And that's when God would separate himself from, because that would be wickedness in his sight. So we really should have that understanding about different kinds of people participating in politics. That here God Himself is teaching us we should know, because if we as people delight ourselves in His ways, then He will delight in us and bring us to peace. But if we don't, He will definitely not have anything to do with it. And let's continue more here. Princes shall come out of Egypt, Ethiopia shall soon stretch out her hands unto God. Isn't it beautiful? Egypt, Ethiopia. And I think that's the theory of peace I would have now for Middle East, for the entire area of former Soviet Union too. Come out of the darkness and show yourself to God, and He will show you the way to create peace in current circumstances. This is really so delightful for my heart, because for a while I was almost losing hope, and now I see that there is hope, because if all of those people come to God with intention of peace, He will grant it. He will show the right ways and new ways, and then He will also provide blessings and laughter and joy, and we'll have the happy shapes again, the joyful shapes. Kids would be jumping for joy again, like I was jumping for joy when I was a little girl, and all my neighborhood kids too. And today kids are not doing it. They are so sad. And I think it's because they feel the weight of those wars, and they feel that there's no future if the attention is focused on destruction. But they would have joy and happiness and love in their hearts if they know that God, who created them, will show them the way out of that danger and show them the way of joy. So that's what I recommend to all countries in Middle East today, Egypt, Ethiopia, but now all the other ones too. Stretch your hands unto God. Respect Jerusalem, respect the places that God selected as His property, His own people, and then stretch out your hands to Him, and He will bless you too in your own ways that are virtuous and peaceful and beautiful and have future. And that's the peace for Middle East, peace for former republics of the Soviet Union, and then the whole world. Sing unto God, you kingdoms of the earth. Oh, sing praises unto the Lord. So, sing unto God, you kingdoms of the earth. There's one song that moved my heart so powerfully. It was created in South Africa, and it's Jerusalem. And you can see many versions of that song on internet. So this song shows so many people from all over the world praising Jerusalem and stretching out their hands to God. It's beautiful. It shows that we have higher power that can create unique identities within us and bless those identities and create that joy and happiness within us from all kinds of backgrounds. And then it continues, to Him that rideth upon the heavens of heavens, which were of old, lo, He doth send you out His voice, and that is a mighty voice. Ascribe your strength unto God, His excellencies over Israel, and his strength is in the clouds. O God, thou art terrible out of thy holy places. The God of Israel is he that giveth strength and power unto his people. Blessed be God. So my recommendation for the world is for all countries to stretch out their hands to God, honor Israel, honor Jerusalem, and honor the holy places in Israel, and then see the wonders that God's love and God's living peace will do to you. There's plenty of room on earth for all of us, and we just need the right way, the direction that would come to us from the Spirit of God. And when we are open to it, when we know that this is possible, that this is a much better way than focusing on ideas of communism, labor, then we'll have experience in our hearts, in our souls, in our reasons that will make us want to jump for joy. So my message is to all of you, including even countries that never heard about God. Just do it on trust, and we'll have joy in the world that will last for generations to come. Thank you so much for listening to my remarks, and see you here for another edition of Happy